News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Tragic news out of Poplar, Montana. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It's Thursday, April 21st, 2016. Sun's just coming up right now. It's a beautiful morning. Another great-looking day. Lots of sunshine. Got up to 81 degrees officially yesterday. It's not a record, but still pretty warm. Right now it's 49 under a clear sky at Missoula. Our newscast this morning sponsored by Bulls Eyewear. They offer some of the lowest prices in town on contact lenses. See Lynette at 2910 South Reserve. This morning's top story. After a search that began Tuesday afternoon, Roosevelt County Sheriff's Office officials, along with the FBI and Fort Peck Reservation Police, confirmed that the body of 1-year-old Kensley Ava Leanne Olson was found Wednesday in Poplar. Public Information Officer Lee Ulmer has more.
They canceled the Amber Alert about 2:09 after finding her body. She was found in Poplar. They do have a subject in custody at the moment. Not a lot of information is being released regarding it because it's part of an ongoing investigation.
Ulmer said information about the child's death is being tightly held by federal authorities.
Incident command and primary investigations being led by the FBI, and I in no way represent them, so I'm not sure of a lot more information that I'm going to get, but as the Sheriff's Office can pass more to me to inform you, I will make sure to keep you in the loop.
The child was the subject of a multi-state Amber Alert. Ulmer said one person is in custody and is being questioned. No further details have yet been released. As far as we know, no official charges have yet been filed. The Missoula Chamber of Commerce released the results of a survey yesterday after polling their members on whether the historic Missoula Mercantile Building should be torn down or preserved. 85% of respondents voted to deconstruct the building. That means tear it down, while only 14% voted against deconstruction. Chamber President and CEO Kim Luttrell explains.
And I get a sense from the people I visit with in our membership, the time is now to move on. You know, we've looked at it several different ways, and rather than just let it deteriorate and fail, is to look at an opportunity of putting new commerce in there.
Luttrell said an effort should be made to preserve as much of the history as possible, but that Missoula needs the downtown area to keep growing.
Yes, if you can preserve some historic things with it, absolutely you try to do that. Because if the time calls for something new to move on, we have to embrace this, opportunity and move forward. And I think that's clearly what we heard from the survey and absolutely from the board today.
The Missoula Historical Preservation Commission has delayed its decision on allowing the building to be torn down until next month. Senator Ted Cruz may be chatting up Montanans for their vote, but his robocalls are pushing the wrong buttons for some. Such automated phone calls are illegal in Montana and are prompting a few complaints. Montana's Commissioner of Political Practices was alerted to the calls earlier this week, but says he doesn't have the authority to enforce the state law that prohibits political robocalls. Cruz is hoping to prevent Donald Trump from winning the Republican nomination outright. Montana, which awards only 27 delegates, could be crucial in Cruz's presidential bid. Greg Trangmore, the state co-chair for Ohio Governor John Kasich's campaign, said the robocalls show that Cruz isn't playing by Montana rules. Earlier this year, the Cruz camp explored the possibility of trying to disqualify Kasich from the June primary in Montana. The nation's first and only grizzly bear recovery coordinator is stepping down from his post in Montana after 35 years, saying the threatened species has recovered enough for him to retire. The Great Falls Tribune reports Chris Servine of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service says he's stepping down at the end of April. Wayne Casworm will become acting recovery coordinator. Yellowstone National Park officials are warning people against approaching wildlife in the park after a woman was caught on video petting a bison. The Cody Enterprise reports park spokesman Amy Bartlett said the woman was, quote, extremely lucky, end quote. She wasn't hurt in the incident that occurred last Friday. The woman's encounter with the bison comes after Yellowstone reported 5 run-ins between park goers and buffalo last year. One incident involved a woman who was flipped into the air by a bison while trying to take a selfie with the animal. Park visitors are required to stay at least 25 yards away from bison. A semi-truck hauling a pup trailer filled with gas overturned on Highway 10 near Alberton yesterday afternoon, rolling down a ravine and spilling thousands of gallons of gasoline. Spokesman for Frenchtown Fire Mel Holtz said the accident occurred a little before 5 p.m.
We do have about 6,000 gallons of fuel that is on the tanker, and it was separated into 3 compartments. One of the compartments is breached and totally leaked out. while we're trying to stabilize and offload the remaining contents in those other 2 tanks off the truck.
I spoke with Holtz about 7:30 last night. He said about 2,200 gallons had spilled, and multiple agencies responded to the crash site.
Nobody was injured, thankfully, in this. And then we've got multiple agencies out here. The health department is working on the cleanup aspect, while we're working with the regional hazmat team to safely secure this and come up with a plan to offload the contents on the trailer.
The 911 call center just before 5 o'clock this morning said a portion of Highway 10 is still closed due to that spill. When it opens, we will try to get that information to you as quickly as possible. 4 Montana counties, Missoula, Lewis and Clark, Ravalli, and Silverbow, got an F. That's a failing grade in a new report on air pollution from the American Lung Association. The annual State of the Air report found that when you look at spikes in fine particulate matter, mostly caused by wildfires, Missoula's air is now the 10th most polluted in the country. And it found that Missoula suffered a record number of unhealthy air days from 2012 to 2014. Ronnie Flannery with the American Lung Association said the air is a significant health hazard, especially for children, elderly, and people with asthma, COPD, and even diabetes.
Breathing this in can lead to premature death, asthma attacks, heart attacks, and strokes, as well as lung cancer and reproductive and developmental harm. So it's serious stuff.
Flannery said the root problem is climate change.
Climate change is posing a special challenge for us. We're seeing longer and more intense wildfire seasons, which is resulting in impaired air quality, particularly in particulate pollution.
Some good news, though. Montana's year-round pollution and ozone levels are improving. However, next year's State of the Air report could be even worse, since it'll include data from last summer's wildfire season, which extended into the fall. And finally, Harney County Sheriff Dave Ward in Washington State said he's been dealing with armed militants for months before they occupied a national wildlife refuge in Oregon in January. Ward was in Spokane Tuesday at the invitation of the FBI to speak to law enforcement officials about his experiences during the takeover. He was also interviewed by Spokane County Sheriff Ozzie Kenovich for his weekly podcast. The Spokesman Review reported Wednesday that Kenovich was impressed at how the Oregon sheriff on the job for less than a year handled the high-profile standoff. Ward, who only has 4 deputies, said the militants first requested a meeting on November 5th. Our News Talk time now is 6:12.
News Talk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Ample sunshine and near record high temperatures as we top out in the low 80s today and Friday. An isolated thunderstorm will be introduced into the forecast for Friday. Showers and cooler temperatures this weekend. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for KECI 13.